So in this video, I'm going to show you how to choose the best foreign exchange pairs to trade. Now, within my MT4, I can click on the plus button, and depending on the broker, you see the list of pairs. So I can click on Forex and then add the other pairs that I don't yet have on my watch list. Just by clicking on them, they appear on my watch list or on the quote section. Now, which pair do you want to trade? Most of the time, a lot of traders are not certain of the pair that they'll trade. They try Euro USD. A lot of traders like trading Euro USD. A lot of traders like trading the pound USD, and so on and so forth. But do you just select the pair you love to trade out of just your favorite pair? I like the pound because that's what I saw in a lot of videos, learning or whatsoever. Now, there is something more to it, depending on two things. Number one, the type of trader you are. Open chart, if you're a swing, if you're a scalper, if you're a day trader. Number two, how long you want to wait. How long you want to wait to how long you want to wait for a trade to hit your take profit, and so on. So most of the times, I preferentially like to trade pairs that are much more heavy, pairs that are much more volatile. Now, how do I tell which pair is volatile? Now, this is the trick I use. Let's go to Euro USD and open the chart. Now, I'm going to go to 1 hour time frame. I always like using an average of 1 hour time, and I'm going to squeeze the chart to the smallest. I'll squeeze the chart to the smallest as it can get. So this is the smallest as it can get. Now I want to measure the volatility in the market. How often, or how much, or what does it mean, or what does it take for the price to move from one grid to another grid. Now if you take a look at the right side of the chart, you are going to notice that we have grids, and the first right down here is 1.0. The first, where my cursor is 1.06731, and then above that we have 1.06795. Now when I squeeze the chart to the minimum that it can get, I'll calculate the difference between the grid sizes. So if you know how to calculate pips, a movement of 1.0673 to 1.0679, that is a change in, that's a movement from 3 to 9. So how many pips is that? 3 minus 9, that is 6 pips. So if you're trading Euro USD on the 1 hour time and you've squeezed the chart as small as it can be, and the price moves from one grid line like this, the price moves from one grid line here to one grid line here, you've made an average of 6 pips. That is what you know. Now let's look at other currencies. Let me go to the currency that I particularly like to trade, which is the Euro Australian dollar. Now I particularly like to trade this pair because I've seen that it's much more volatile than the others. Now that I've added it to my chart, I'm going to open the chart and I'll follow the same process. Open the chart. Number one, make sure it's 1 hour. Number two, squeeze to its minimum, and you can now look at the difference between the movement from one grid line to the other. So right from the bottom here, we have a movement of 1.6603 to 1.6618. So movement from 03 to 18, how many pips difference is that? That's a pip difference of 15 pips as opposed to 6 pips in the case of Euro versus the US dollar. So now you know that if the prices move from one grid to this other grid, on the Euro Australian dollar, then you know that they have moved 15 pips, and you can now conclude that Euro Australian dollar is way much more heavy than the Euro US dollar. This is a trick that you need to know which pair is much more volatile in the market. So as a trader, if you want to stay in a trade for just a few minutes, then you know that okay, you should potentially go to pairs like the Euro Australian dollar that are much more volatile and will tend to move drastically within a shorter period of time. You can do this exercise too. If you're trading with the 15 minutes, you go down to the 15 minutes, you do the same exercise, you notice that the pip difference from one grid to the other has changed. Like the pip difference from here, 1.6616 to 1.6625, 1.6616 to 1.6625, which is a pip difference of 9 pips. And you can potentially take trades here, knowing that even if the price move just for one candlestick, which this candlestick is able to cover above one grid, then you have potentially made 10 pips on an average. So this is it about this video, and stay tuned for our subsequent videos. Ciao.